So to continue and trying to pick up pace, there are a number of secret societies that rule the world. It's all quite sinister. They're not open. We've heard about Freemasons, but these are more subtle even than that. And a lot of them have got religious affiliations, like the Knights of Malta, which is a Catholic religious order, the Club de Bern, which is an intelligence organisation to protect the people, Skull and Bones, a Brotherhood of Death, Bohemian Grove, artists, musicians, and some politicians like Bush and Reagan, Tony Blair were in there, believe it or not. Le Circle, spies and politicians, former MI6 spies, Bullingdon Club, Oxford students, and then we've got Bilderberg Group, politicians, Chatham House, an authority on world events, CFR, US foreign policy think tank, Trilateral, Commons, just, and so on and so forth. And it's all quite secretive, but we need to unravel groups that have got affiliations to religion and find out who they're trying to control and why, and whether the light is shining into these organisations. If they're secretive, it's likely they're wrong. If we're open and honest and transparent, we can hold ourselves accountable to the judgment of the people that we're meant to be serving. And then, you know, the thing that I would just like to say is that leaders can buy their harem with handouts. You know, you can get a whole load of women on antidepressants with cash handouts, all singing the praises of the leader because they haven't got to work for the living. It's a bit too easy for comfort. How else, if you're corrupt, how else would you keep people's loyalty if you're not a good person? You've got to use money. But some good people know it's wrong inside and decide to leave, like Olivia. Not many, but the strong ones leave. The weak ones stay, I believe. That's what I've come to. Not that there aren't lovely people in there, lovely girls. They just need to be encouraged to stretch themselves, reach out beyond the limitations of a cult. Yes, they can drink, yeah, they can have babies, yeah, have a husband, all that sort of stuff, but they're not really engaging with the big wide world. So they're very vulnerable, very pliable to the dictates of unscrupulous people. We then just have to bear in mind that we can change from being fake to real people. That's the encouraging thing. Business people are beginning to see it, that real staff are the best staff. People that are morally founded, stand for morals, stand for ethics. That's why I'm opening a number of ethical businesses to support my LJC Foundation and charity. But that's another topic for another time. The world is full of businessmen, pharmaceutical companies that have taken advantage of COVID. But, you know, we should be able to express ourselves. And, you know, the sin that we're here for a reason. The hymn used to say, here for a season, then above. But hey, are you putting everything into money and materialism? Or are you thinking wider? What legacy do you want to leave? Certain countries are more tolerant of what's real, others aren't. More relaxed countries are generally. You know, if you just keep on spinning round and round and round, making more and more money like a hamster on a wheel, you'll burn out eventually. You'll be chasing your tail. We need authentic people. If you're not authentic, I can't be bothered. We want honesty. If you're not honest, I can't be bothered. We are happier if we're giving more than we receive. But you need to be smart enough to who you're giving to. That's the point. The issue with regard to depression and suicide is that people aren't real. People are fake. So be free to confess up so you're real. Make confession. Confess your state to someone you trust, to the Lord. And come together and have magical conversations. And, you know, find your home. You can choose your home. It doesn't have to be what you're in. Some may want to call my home their home just because they simply love coming to see me. That's fine. But you don't ever coerce people to support each other. We want the true community spirit where we support each other. And the whole concept of the church and the ecclesia is that it's a church in the spiritual sense, not a letter of the law and withdrawal and using the legal system. It's Christ in you. It's the temple. It's the law is choking. It swipes back at you. It punishes. But if you're in fear and scared of the law, what about changing and being sharers, forgiving and real and speaking truth without any harsh words? There's no point being harsh. Are you uplifting? Do speak the truth in an uplifting way, not in a condemning way. You know, let's get on to encouraging things rather than depressing things. So there's more than bricks and mortar. As I say, the temple is our hearts. It's inside us. Women who stand up for truth aren't risk adverse. No. You do it, they do it quietly, but they jolly well do it. And your life is blunted if you get the blame in the church for someone else's sins. It seems to me that Hales is letting off all the women and blaming the husbands. Husbands have to take responsibility. I've had it many occasions. The husband has to take responsibility if the wife has an affair because it's his house. Nonsense. Nonsense. We're individually responsible. You'll blunt a good man if you burden him with other people's sins. That's not his job. That's the Lord. The Lord's taking that on. The wife needs to confess it. We each need our own link to the Lord. So, you know, I've got witness to the fact that I used to inspire Weave Able. They can't understand why I'm now the enemy. They realise that the workers there are being told I'm bad, but I've provided a business for my family. Yes, I went on a date site and got into massive trouble, but would God condemn a date site when a man's been shunned and cast out from his household, his family, his wife, children? I think it's all right. It's a perfectly guileless thing to do, to look for another woman when if your wife leaves you for some reason. And I just want honest conversations, fair hearings. Let's touch the ground, folk. Get together. My disposition is to talk, not too much, hopefully, but just to talk things over in a friendly way, because I want to walk up the mountain with you. If this is a problem, I'll come with you. I'll take you by the hand. Let's discuss it fairly, respectfully, openly, friendlily, and have a family meeting where everyone can voice their concerns. That's really what it's all about. I would just like to say that, and I don't like to say it, but I'm afraid that the PBCC have become like a religious chessboard, and you've got like a hierarchy of enforcers, which are the bishops and the rooks, but of course you've got the king, you know, and he's the big white chief, and then if you can, I think I've said this before, but if you just think about the pawns and how they're used to protect the king, that's what you've got. You've got a situation, and it's politics, and the pawns are all protecting the king. Well, if the king is right, he doesn't need protecting. If a man's right, I learnt that lesson myself, because I went to the leader of the day, John Hales, and told him about the local leader, Oliver Sporton. He said, this is a key point, he said, if he's right, he doesn't need supporting. He does not need supporting. That's a big lesson for me. I had great difficulties with them. It's when they're false that they need support. Yeah, that's not good. I'm now just trying to present my case in an intelligent way. Let me just say, one thing we perhaps overlook is when Hitler was exterminating the Jews, before he sent the Jews to the gas chambers, he sent intelligent Germans who could see through what he was doing to the gas chambers first. We don't hear too much about that, do we? Yes, he did. And they knew what was going on, you see. So, you know, I'm being told left, right and centre that people, my friends, fear for my safety because Bruce Hales is a bad man. Well, why should people think he's a bad man? You judge someone by their actions. And if a man can hurt people and break up families, he can cause harm to people. But I'm with Christ, so I'm stepping out into the arena, you might say, and saying, come on, Hales, sort it. Either fight me or give up. And if giving up would be in the best interests of your people that you're meant to love and care for and protect, well, do so. Give up. Hand over to Christ. They can look after themselves. It's demeaning to think that they have to do what you tell them. That doesn't show you love your people. That's despisal, actually. They've got minds and consciences and linked to the Lord themselves. One would hope. I do think your system's a bit easy. It's easy come, easy go. There's no real moral tests these days for those staying in your religion or born into it. So just bear that in mind. We don't want legal cases against brethren and ex-brethren. Are you trying to impose the Australian corrupt legal system onto your congregation? I can't understand why brethren need to take legal protection out against brethren. That's not brotherhood, not at all. When Daniel suggests I took legal protection out on Bramett Park Hall against my brethren, why should that be? I trust them, I expect them to trust me. Normally trust begets trust. Let's trust one another, and we'll get the best out of one another rather than being suspicious and spying on people, using hidden cameras and private investigators and detection systems and phones with and UBT surveillance and all that crap. Just trust your people and you'll get a lot better. There's no point. The red tape, and it's very difficult to get into Australia. It's so much red tape because it's all by the book rules and regulations. The letter deadens, the spirit quickens. Let's get into the spirit of things. Let's start living a free life where we can enjoy each other's company. Thank you.